Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we have a good one here. It is the Lonestar 225, as you can see right there on your screen at the Texas Motor Speedway. This is the first time these drivers taking on a 1.5 mile track, so anything can happen, especially at a tough track like this. We'll see drivers really test their limits. A very wide turn one, but with all that room, you still want to be wrapping that bottom. And then the same thing in 3 and 4, especially off of turn number 4. You can kind of see in that distance, so that wall comes up very quickly, and if you're not careful, exactly like that, one car spinning through the grass here at the end of practice can happen to you in a hurry. Last week, these drivers took on North Wilkesboro Speedway, and the driver from Albany, Kansas, Christian Delgado, in the number 31 machine, picked up the win there. Steve Renner finished second, with Johnny Barker rounding out the top 3, and right now some quick times up on the board. Right now, Stephen Holmes has the best time with a 29.82, then Johnny Barker with a 29.83, and then tied for third quick is Speedy Brissett. You usually see him on the Tuesday nights with the 802 boys. Tonight gonna try and tackle the pavement side. He's tied with Frank Zingen there at a 29.89. We'll go throw up the board on the left side of your screen, and as you can kind of see with some of the cars going on around the speedway here, we'll definitely highlight it a bunch during the race, but it is sports night for the 802 drivers. A lot of drivers rocking either their favorite athlete or their favorite team, so we'll definitely highlight a lot of those. Can't wait to see all those on track, especially during the broadcast and racing in action. Got to chat with some of the drivers, check out some of their schemes, and I tell you what, there is some really, really slick ones out here tonight. As we enter in about less than a minute left in practice, of course, then we'll head over to our 5-minute 2-lap qualifying. That will set the grid for tonight's 150-lap race, or 225 miles. And that's right, Jacob. It's going to be one hot one here tonight. You heard of one hot night that was over at Charlotte, but here at Texas, temperatures way on up, and this is going to be another one. A day race at Texas, temperature's going to be up there. That means traction going to be at an all-time low. So these drivers going to be driving kind of from the edge of their sim seats as we get on ready and head on over to qualifying here tonight. Looks like Stephen Holmes does hang on to that best lap. Can he repeat here in qualifying? We're about to find out here, folks, as we head on over to qualifying. 28 cars have shown on up here tonight to do battle. Of course, only one can walk away with the checkered flag. But first and foremost, we got to find out who's walking away with the Leaf Guard Quick Time Award. As we get cars heading to the Speedway here. And I believe we have our first car here. Yeah, the 62 Fighting Irish Machine. That is, of course, Frank Zingen. So Zingen out here gonna get that car wound on up. Probably will run the high side in 3 and 4 just to get a big of a run as he can to the start finish line, as maybe just a car length up as the 62 heads through 3 and 4. And to the front stretch he will come. Zingen goes on the clock here. He'll dive it down into turn 1 and 2 and did not hit the bottom there, so definitely not going to be the first lap that the 62 probably wants. And as you can see on the car, the Fighting Irish Notre Dame being represented by the 62. So just one of those specialty paint schemes here tonight. As Kyle Peacock, best time so far, 62 across the stripe. Looks like third quick on lap number 1. Going to look for a little bit more speed, a little bit lower on entry, but starts to wash on up just a little bit here. Down the backstretch for the final time for the 62 machine, as Kenny real quick time with a 30.07. That is going to be tough to beat from that number 11 machine. We'll keep an eye here on Zingen as he will cross the stripe. He will improve to second quick with that 30.14. So Frank, find him some speed on lap number 2. He will find it there. Now we'll look at the guy quickest in practice. He's got the Chicago Cubs on the side of that car. It is the 90 of Stephen Holmes. Holmes here at lap number 1, good enough for a 30.38, but it seems like lap number 2 is where he can really make up some time, as last week's winner Christian Delgado goes to the top of the board. Delgado to quick time at the moment, but still about 8 cars or so that have not taken a lap, so still could be anyone's pole award, as Holmes only good enough for 4th quick with a 30.15. That will put him outside row number 2. Now we'll take a look here at the 54 San Francisco machine. Luckily right now San Francisco putting a whooping on the Chicago Bears. Hopefully no spoilers if someone was trying to watch the game at a later time, but the 49ers looking very good. But this is, of course, the 54. This is Bryce Shoemaker. Shoemaker is on the clock here. But Shoemaker definitely taking it easy here the first lap. He's going to put all of his eggs into one basket here for lap number 2. Oh, Shoemaker will get a piece of the wall there off of turn number 4, so hopefully no damage to that car, because if so, that could slow him down just a little bit here, even on the second lap with the good old damage model from iRacing. Shoemaker first lap does not count because of that wall hit, so this will be his only time lap if he keeps it clean here. Through 3 and 4, the 54 will come for the final time here in qualifying. That time a lot better off of turn number 4 as Shoemaker to the stripe. He will put down a 30.12, so that will put him inside row number 2. So a great recovery from the 54 machine. This guy's still getting some practice, still out on track, but we got to give him a big shout out here, and that's, of course, for the Leaf Guard Pole Award. Delgado walked away last week with the checkered flag. Tonight, starting off, kind of continuing that momentum, let's say, walking away with the Leaf Guard Pole Award here from Texas. So big congrats to Christian as he gets the best seat in the house to try and go 2 in a row here, as that will do it here for qualifying, and we'll get ready to head on over to tonight's race. 150 laps for these drivers. Let's run down tonight's starting order. Here tonight for the 802 Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series is the starting order for the Lonestar State 225, as the 31 Kansas State machine of Christian Delgado will lead the field to green. To his outside will be the number 11, that is Kenny Reel. Rolling off P number 3 will be the 54 machine, that is Bryce Shoemaker. To his outside will be the 62, that is Frank Zingen. Then rounding out the top 5 here will be the 90 of Stephen Holmes. To his outside, rolling off P number 6 will be the number 3 car, that is Speedy Brissett. Then in P number 7 will be the 63, that is Max Cost. To his outside, rolling off P number 8 will be the 6 car, that is Johnny Barker. Then we have the 21 of Rob Lowell, that he will be rolling off P number 9. Then rounding out the top 10, that is the 2 machine of Nick Larson. Then just outside the top 10, in P number 11 will be the 1 car, that is Brandon Guerin. To his outside, the 81. Rolling off 12th will be Dan Dill. Starting 13th here tonight will be the 83 of Kyle Peacock. 14th going to the 4 of Jim Ott. Rolling off P number 15 is Jeff Pogo in the 97. And then 16th is Chris Taylor in the 69. Eli Raposa in the number 46 machine is starting in 17th. 18th going to Dustin Coggins in the 42. Robert Den in the 93, starting in 19th, and rounding out the top 20 will be Justin Branaham in the 58. Ariba Caton in the number 30 machine, rolling off 21st. 22nd going to Eric Holly in the 7. 23rd is the 13, that being piloted by Jason Wiley. And then 24th is the 12, that is Cody Brewer. 25th will be the number 8 of Matt Taylor. 26th going to Jason Erson in the 74. Mike Babinchak in the 55, rolling off 27th, and starting shotgun on the field here tonight will be Cameron Robertson in the 32 machine. So that will do it here for tonight's starting lineup. And yeah, we got Steve Ritter in the chat going through that move. So Steve, of course, missing this week and next. So hate to not see you out there on track. Hopefully everything's going well with you, but we'll have to see what kind of racing action we, of course, get without you here. But we'll look forward to you in about, from here, 2 weeks' time. As, of course, Christian Delgado leading the field to green. To his outside, the Premier Setup Shop's number 11, Kenny Reel. And we just got to take a look here at some of these schemes, and there is some good ones here. As we take a look through the field and check out some of these sweet paint schemes on these cars. as this will give us a pretty good shot as we'll file through the field here. And man, oh man, some great looking cars here tonight, but here we go. Lights are out around the Speedway. We are going green flag racing here this time by Delgado Real making up the front row. Of course, Delgado picking up the win last week at a short track, trying to do that here at an intermediate. As the iRacing pace car heads down pit road, Delgado will lead the field into the restart zone. And here we go, the field on the loud pedal. We go green flag racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Side by side throughout the whole field as they'll dive it down 2 by 2 into turn number 1. Side by side battle for the race lead. Real up top, Delgado down low, and for a second, single filed on out for third, but here comes Zingen on the top side. Kenny Real with a power move from the high side will take over the race lead and lead lap number 1 for the number 11 machine. Delgado will slot into second. Zingen will get up into P number 3 here, so looks like now most of the field single file on out. First real battle side by side. Looks like Rob Lowell trying to look to the inside of Matt Koss. So Koss up on the top side here. Lowell down low. He has Johnny Barker right on the inside here. As the top 3 starts to check on out here, of course, around the 8th position, still duking it on out. Drivers trying to figure out that fine dance of who's saving tires, who's going for it. So that is something they are going to have to try and figure out here all night long, because this place probably the real first good test to get green flag pit stops, as tonight definitely a possibility. Hopefully all these drivers have practice entering pit road at full song, let's say, because if you don't, it can get very tricky in a hurry, and a speeding penalty, especially during some green flag pit stop runs, could, I mean, definitely ruin your night, but put a top 5 car all the way back in P number 20, as looks like one car maybe gets just a piece of the wall. I believe that is the 3 machine of Speedy Brissett, just getting a piece of it there, heading into turn number 1. So Brissett, of course, here with this series definitely enjoys the dirt side more, but trying to get acclimated to these long pavement races. Know there's still a lot of distance ahead. You know, falling on back, but getting in that rhythm, getting that experience of racing around cars. Definitely very, very important stuff here, as still side by side here now for 4th, as Shoemaker under heavy pressure. Rob Lowell to the inside. So Lowell, of course, going for it since the drop of the green flag here. He brings along, of course, his buddy Johnny Barker there, so move those 2 into the top 5. It's now the 49er machine under fire from the Commander machine, as Kyle Peacock will take over P number 6. And Peacock, a man on a mission, biggest mover so far in the first 7 laps, up a whopping 7 spots. Hey, appreciate that fun fact there, Roger. guess a little bit extra information from the driver of the Three Machine, Speedy Brissett. He has been a champion here with the 802 guys, but on the dirt side with those maybe big block, sometimes small block modifieds, but pretty much the East Coast modifieds. Speedy Brissett, season 1 champion over there, so he knows a thing or two about winning. Of course, going to try and leave his mark on the pavement side. Like I said, a lot of time left in this race. Of course, as we come up to lap 10 of 150. Up in front, though, battle for the race lead. Delgado to the inside of Real. These guys will go side by side here through 3 and 4. Kenny Real, though, a great run on the high side. Real will lead the lap, but Delgado will have the preferred line here in 1 and 2. So Kenny Real stuck on the high side, has to wash way on up there off of turn number 2, as looks like Delgado will complete the pass here. Real will slot into P number 2. Well, that's good to hear, Steve, that everything's going all right for you. As over here, so far, everything good out on track. First 11 laps, all green flag so far here from Texas. Some mover and shakers throughout the field, but everyone trying to ride on around, like I said, trying to figure out what kind of pace they want to run here tonight. As we look a little bit further back here, Matt Taylor putting the pressure on Justin Brannahan. This will be a pass for the 19th position here. Taylor should be able to clear Branham off at turn number 4, but no, the 58, a good run on the high side here, so they'll stay side by side, and Branham almost clears the 8 by the time they get to turn number 3. Branham will lift a little bit early, try and get back down on that bottom side, but here comes Babachak. He'll look to the inside of the 58 now. Out in front, no changes inside of the top 5 here at the moment. Top 3 a little bit broken away from the rest of the field, but Lowell Peacock and Barker definitely catching those front guys, as now Kyle Peacock up into P number 4. One car a little bit sideways there off of turn number 4, I believe. That might have been this Eagles machine. That is Chris Taylor. So far, everyone still kind of grouped up, let's say. No one has fallen way back or has checked out way out in front, so. That tells me one thing here. These drivers using each other as references, trying to run the best they can without burning up their stuff, keeping their car underneath them, because these guys may have to go all the way to, you know, lap 75 and maybe try and one-stop tonight's race. Another driver that has been making his way through the field here, up 5 positions up into the top 10 here for the first time here tonight, is this number 4 machine, is Jim Ott, as he gets right to the back bumper of Nick Larson. Almost contact there into turn number 3, but as Larson gets a little bit loose right in front of him, Ott will look to the inside here and dive it down into turn number 1. I will sail it in there, but Larson sails it in there big time on the high side. He will drift way up the speedway, and it looks like Ott will be able to complete the pass there off of turn number 2. So yeah, these three cars right here, we got to keep an eye on, especially if this is a long run here. It is Shoemaker, Brissett, and Koss. All these guys have lost a lot of position. As Shoemaker, big time sideways off of turn number 2. He has to hang on to that race car, will lose a spot, but does a great job of keeping that car underneath him and not having something bigger come out of that. But yeah, these three we got to keep an eye on because I believe that they are big time tire saving, you know, letting people go on by, and from now probably lap 15, 20, they're going to try and start turning it back up and see what they can do to get back to those leaders. But they already sit about 4.5 seconds back from the race leader here. So biggest mover here so far here tonight, up 10 positions. Kyle Peacock is up into the podium spots here, trying to chase down the front 2 runners. As I tell you what, we got to go right on board with Kyle Peacock, see what he's doing here at the start of this race to click off some of the fastest laps of anyone out on track. And you can hear these drivers using that sequential gearbox here, shifting from 4th to 5th gear down these straightaways. Kyle Peacock's doing that, but look at those times on the bottom left there. Best time of 30.04, last time by a 30.72, so that just shows you how much these tires and times fall on off. It's only been 22 laps, but these cars have slowed down already over half a second, as Peacock will start searching for a little bit of a different line. He'll try the second lane there in 3 and 4, gets a little sideways there in 4, but we'll continue to try and search here, as he's kind of one of the few kind of running that higher lane here and making it work for himself so far here tonight. Jim out here to the inside of Barker, so we'll try and take P number 7, and we'll do so from Barker. So yeah, it's up in front here, battle for the race lead, as Kenny Reel says, you know what, I led at the start, I want to get back to the point here. So Kenny Reel turning it up just a little bit, will lead the field off of turn number 2. He has Delgado about a car length back, and then a car length and a half back sits Kyle Peacock here. So one mistake from any of these drivers, we could all very quickly see a lead change here. And I just got to wonder, how is Peacock's car feeling? Is those tires going away? Are those feeling good? Does he have something figured on out here tonight? As Delgado all over the back bumper of Kenny Reel. He is keeping the pressure here on our race leader. And it's very tough, especially at these fast tracks, to be right behind someone, because you get all their dirty air. You get no air on that nose to help plant those front tires just that little bit more. So you'll see guys try and enter a little bit lower, a little bit higher than the car in front of them, or try and get a little bit of gap, as you see Delgado about 2/10 back now. Through 3 and 4 there, Robert Denton gets around Jason Wiley, and I don't know what happened to Barker, but he lost a ton of positions there in just a few laps. So Barker falls all the way back to P number 19 here. try and get a look at the Valvoline number 6 machine. Maybe got a piece of the wall, or that car looks pretty clean. So my guess, he just got big time sideways off the corner, spent the whole straightaway just trying to reel that car back in, and with that loses a lot of spots as he tries to go back on the offense here. To the inside of Cameron Robertson here. Robertson will hold strong there at least down the backstretch, but Barker was sailed in there deep. Robertson will get down to the bottom right in front of Robert Denton. As we now see Denton try and look to the inside of the number 32 machine. See if he gets a lane down into turn number 3. Yes, maybe. Man, that was a little bit close there, as Denton maybe thought he had a lane and then quickly shut there. So a fifth of the way done with tonight's race. 30 laps in the book already. As, oh man, Cameron way up the racetrack there. That would leave a wide open door for Denton there down the backstretch. And that is very easy to do here at Texas. Like I mentioned, turn 1 looks very wide, and that it is, but very low banking, let's say, compared to the speeds that can be run at Texas. So you miss your mark a little bit and you're drifting way up the speedway for a long time, it feels like, as Delgado has reeled back in real. Starting to put the pressure on him is Delgado. A little bit of connection issues. We'll have to see how that shakes on out for the 31 machine. Hopefully gets that squared away, but bit of an intense battle here. These guys kind of strained on out and got single file, but I think I heard a little bit of contact here between the 21 and the number 4. So far everyone pretty spread on out. Here we see a battle there for 22nd. This is Chris Taylor and Jason Wiley side by side. Right in front of them, it looks like Justin Branaham and Cameron Robertson as well, trying to battle on out, as Wiley able to defend that spot, but Wiley has to check up big time, and Taylor almost into the back of the 13. Man, that was a big time closing rate, as Wiley big time loose. He will tank slap the wall, but keep that car straight. Wiley now has to hope for a yellow flag here at some point, as a little bit of damage on that right front. We see here Brandon Guerin with Stephen Holmes. This is just inside the top 10 here, as Garrett able to get the pass done. Here comes Bryce Shoemaker now. Will fill that gap on the inside lane. So Shoemaker trying to make up all those spots that he lost. We saw Wiley, get loose off of turn number 4. Well, it's kind of hard to see in the broadcast, but in the car, you can definitely feel it. There's a really bad bump off of turn number 4, and if you skip it just right, or let's say just wrong, you can either get very tight and go almost straight into the wall, or it can lift up your rear end, break traction of those rear tires just enough, and send you sideways in a hurry. So a lot of things these drivers have to navigate here. Shoemaker gets a piece of the wall there down the backstretch. The biggest thing these drivers are feeling from this point on is that right front. How much are you wearing it? How's this car feeling? As 37 green flag laps here, and we are definitely seeing who is saving and who is maybe paying the price. Shoemaker gets a run. We'll look to the inside of Brandon Guerin. They will go door number to door number here through 3 and 4. Shoemaker will make the pass look pretty easy there, as Guerin, I think, knows a little bit too early to really be racing hard for a position. As Max Koss trying to follow Shoemaker through the field here. Both those guys, big time tire save the first 15-20 laps. Now starting to turn it back up and pick their way back through the field. Under heavy fire from Jim Ott here. We're going to take a look here, looking back. Ott has to maybe make a move here sooner than later, because now he has Nick Larson right there behind Ott. We saw Ott drive it in there high, get a big run off of turn number 2 and to the inside of Rob Lowell. Ott and Lowell here, very close racing here. No extra room given between the two of them. That's some hard racing here for Pete number 6, as Lowell will slam the door shut here going into turn number 1. Man, oh man, these guys racing hard, but can't look too far back, because here comes Bryce Shoemaker here. It's about to be a lot of cars in this battle here, as once again, side by side, more contact between the two of them. As Lowell gets a piece of the wall, Ott will get big time sideways. Ott will have to save that car down the entire front stretch there and lose a ton of positions. Ott goes all the way outside of the top 10 here. As now Lowell under fire from Nick Larson. Larson looks like able to clear the pass there in turn number 3. Here comes Bryce Shoemaker now. As Lowell trying to fight his way back to the bottom, he will do so just there. Shoemaker will look to the high side, think better of it. Now gonna try and wrap the bottom side a little bit better than the 21 machine. Lowell will slide on up, leave that door open, but get a good run down the backstretch here. So Larson leading this group, just trying to run away from the chaos behind. Lowell trying to hang on to every spot that he can. And of course, Shoemaker trying to pick up those pieces from the start of the race. Shoemaker will get to the inside here in 1 and 2. He will get clear down the backstretch. We'll see if Rob crosses him over. Looks like not. Bryce Shoemaker will get on by. Now the next car in line is Brandon Guerin, and here comes Jim Ott once again. Man, oh man, I think Lowell's right front going away from him, but here we go, 3 wide. Jim Ott will think better of it, will back on out, and looks like everyone will get through 3 and 4 cleanly here. I think Lowell's right front going away here in a hurry. If I was a bed man, I think he would be one of the first down on pit road here tonight. Haven't said too much about this bright yellow 42 machine, as I believe the Savannah Bananas on the car. That is Dustin Coggin. Coggin making his way through the field here, trying to claw his way into the top 10. up 5 positions from where he started as he looked to the inside of Max Cost, but not quite able to get the job done. He'll try again though here off of turn number 2. As from the spotters stand, I'm hearing some radio chatter. I'm hearing some calls for pit road, so we may have some takers for the first guys down on pit road. As Coggins big time sideways, he'll try the pass through the grass, but sadly he'll be the one getting past as Eli Raposa will try and get around on the high side. So it looks like first cars in are Jeff Pogo and Jim Ott. As these guys will stay side by side here. Raposa up top, Coggin down low. So we'll see if anyone tries to stretch us a one-stopper, but it seems like quite a few drivers gonna break this race up into thirds. I mean, we can see the tire fall off here just by lap times. Most guys last time by were in the 31.3s to the 31.7s, so about a second and a half off of the best time. So a big time fall off, where maybe a 2-stop might be better than a 1-stop. But of course, on pit road, you know, you spend 40 seconds down there, so a lot of time these drivers have to make up if they do indeed run the 2-stop. So Raposa able to get by, same with Matt Taylor and now Johnny Barker. So Coggin falling on back there after that slide as Raposa has to save that race car right in front of Barker. I'm amazed those two didn't make contact, as heck of a heads-up driving by both those guys, as that could have got bad in a hurry. As here comes the Buffalo Bills machine, that is Dan Dill. Dill had a solid qualifying effort here from Texas and trying to get back a few spots that he lost. Still all over the back bumper of Raposa here. So now Matt Taylor getting around Max Koss. Johnny Barker trying to get back as many spots as he can here before his first pit stop. We see one car heading to pit road. That is Speedy Brissett. Also some fact, thanks to my man Roger, about Speedy here heading to pit road. He runs a hobby stock in upstate New York. Also raced for the first time at the dirt track of Charlotte. So definitely a bucket list moment there for the number 3 machine of Speedy. And I gotta say, I'm sure he's heard it a million times, but what a great racer name. That's definitely one of the ones that's like, man, you have to become a race car driver with a name like that. As Kenny Reel out in front, we'll take a look at the Premier number 11 machine. Has stretched his lead out to about 3/4 of a second over Christian Delgado. Those guys kind of in their own zip code, as Kyle Peacock has fallen a decent bit back, about 4 seconds back from our race leader, Frank Zingen, currently in the 4th position. And then Nick Larson rounding out the top 5, but maybe not for long, as Bryce Shoemaker trying to get back into the top 5 before these pit stops, as Delgado from P number 2 dives down onto pit road here. So Delgado gonna try and go for the undercut here tonight at Texas. And I believe it looks like so far everyone has gotten down and off of pit road pretty clean and green. I'm not seeing any penalties. Oh, except for maybe the 55 may have gotten one. As no, 55 has not pitted yet here tonight, so no penalties from pit road yet. As that time by, we have our leader heading off of pit road. Where does he slot back in here? So Kenny Real pitted there. Of course, losing the lead lap to Shoemaker and Larson. But the question is, where does he file out onto the racetrack? That's going to be the battle right there. Delgado going to be able to jump the 11 machine with pitting 2 laps earlier. But Delgado has to take care of those tires, as he'll have 2 older tires than the number 11. So gets the advantage of track position, but the disadvantage of older tires. It's the games we got to play every race night here. Man, oh man, some good racing, a lot of strategy here. As we see our new race leader, Bryce Shoemaker, continue to go around for another lap, as Jeff Pogo right on his back bumper. So Pogo trying to get his lap back the hard way here. And you can just see the advantage of new tires. Pogo driving around him like he's standing still. So that is just the visual representation of the speed difference there. As Shoemaker continues to stay out on track. One car stuck a lap down. That is Cody Brewer in the Oregon Ducks machine. Another sweet looking ride there with the big duck on the quarter panel on both sides. And I gotta give these guys a lot of props. A bunch of drivers showed up tonight with some specialty schemes, and I tell you what, every single one of them looks amazing here at Texas. You see Delgado and Real get their lap back here. So it looks like everyone but the top 5 has pitted so far. As, oh man, almost contact there with our race leader, as Shoemaker, you know, just trying to keep that car underneath him, and Brewer just trying to find a way around, almost made contact. There's a little contact to our leader, as a 32 will go around to get his lap back as well. So I assume the likes of Shoemaker, Taylor, Dan Dill, Chris Taylor, and Jason Wiley all going to try and split this race into half, let's say. So pitting at 75 and just going to try and run the same race, because if we kind of look at this 75 laps later down the line, I mean, has an advantage, 28-second advantage over Delgado and Real. We'll have to see what that number is by the time they pit, but it could be the winning move of the race for a one stop. We just got to keep an eye on the pace here. Last time by, the pace for Shoemaker, 31.51. A pretty solid lap from the 54, whereas the likes of Jeff Pogo, a 30.50. Delgado, a 30.39. So over a second faster each lap. So let's say with that, you know, a second a lap, Shoemaker pitting in 10 laps, that lead goes down to about 15 seconds, and then gonna have to do that again. So it's gonna be very interesting. You know, I do all this math, and then 9 times out of 10 a yellow comes and strategy gets changed in an instant. One of the best battles for position on the Speedway here is these 3 cars. It is Jeff Pogo, Christian Delgado, and Kenny Real. as we get a yellow flag, and even though he doesn't make it to the lap he wants, this is what Shoemaker wants to see here. And I believe we have a slow rolling 13 machine. Yes, we do. As it looks like Jason Wiley gets that thing at least fired on up. But under our first caution flag of the night, let's see what happened to bring it on out. Wiley gets a piece of the apron there in 3 and 4, but that doesn't quite seem to mess it on up. Oh, looks like Wiley heading to pit road, gets on the apron with too much rear brake, loses the back end, and that thing will spin out on the apron. And I'm kind of surprised that brought out the yellow flag with the car spinning on the apron like that. Usually at most tracks, especially on iRacing, we do not see a yellow thrown for a car on the apron here. As I assume we'll see a busy pit road. Now the question is, does the likes of Jeff Pogo come on in, Christian Delgado, the leaders of course down on pit road here. So Bryce Shoemaker will lead the about 4 cars that have not pitted yet down to pit road. Looks like Dan Dill will stay on out, probably to lead a lap. He knows he will have to restart in the back with a lot of cars staying on out, but Dan Dill stays on out. We'll get a bonus point for leading the lap, and especially season-long points. Every point matters every single race. We'll keep an eye here, see if he pits next time by, but a lot of cars here in the wave round spot because we got to look all the way back to about 10th car in line to Jeff Pogo. He'll take over the command, and all those cars in front of him that we see are going to be wave round at 1 to go here. That is, of course, if Dan Dill pits, which I would have to think he does. So a great first stint for these guys as over 60 laps ran clean and green. As not sure what happened there, but Dan Dill will head to pit road here and maybe use up the last little bit of those tires as he'll get ready to slap on 4 new Goodyear tires. Like I said, now Jeff Pogo will take over the race lead here. And everyone else should get waved around here with 1 to go. And with the caution flag, we're going to go to commercial break real quick. On the other side, we'll come back to green flag racing here at Texas with the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen. Alrighty, as the field will get the 1 to go signal. So while we got a little bit of time under this first yellow, of course, we're throwing up on the screen there all the amazing sponsors. Of course, the main one being right there, center screen. You can scan that QR code. That will take you to download the Riptide Radio app. Speaking about Riptide Radio, let me tell you a little bit about them. Riptide Radio, the sounds of the salt, sand, and sea from Ocean Drive in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The best music here as, oh, heads up here, as we gotta go look at this. Christian Delgado going on around here under the yellow flag. He'll get that thing rocking and rolling, but what happened here? As I was giving a shout out to the sponsors and whatnot. We'll take a look here as, yeah, Delgado kind of just drifts on down the speedway. Kenny Real probably not going to realize the 31's there, as he'll try and get a spot back, but we'll stay under yellow flag for another time. Of course, with Riptide Radio, we got to thank a few other sponsors here as we get a little bit of time. That, of course, being BG Graphix. Those guys jumping on board with a huge way with this series, so I got to give them a huge shout out of the Woods Crafts, DTL Custom Graphics, and of course Leaf Guard with the pole award. Of course, tonight's quick time pole award going to the 31 machine, Christian Delgado, walking away with at least some sort of accolade here before the checkered flag even falls here tonight. Yeah, a lot of cars trapped a lap down because Shoemaker, even with pitting there, he's going to restart in the P number 5 spot. So keep an eye on the 54. Has the best tires by far. Same with Jim Ott, Chris Taylor. So this is going to be fun here. Jeff Pogo and the Hoonigan number 97 machine will be leading the field back to the green flag. Christian Delgado to his outside to make up the front row. Hey Josh, glad to see you here tonight. Well, that's good. You're finally getting on over that. It always sucks getting sick there, and especially all that at once does not sound like a fun time. So hopefully you continue to feel on better. But here we go back to green flag as Jeff Pogo gets away with a great start there. Kenny Real will also get clear. Christian Delgado will try and shut the door on Bryce Shoemaker. Shoemaker will drive it in there deep and get to the inside of Delgado. Side by side here off of turn number 2, as Shoemaker will try and make something happen. Has the preferred lane here going into turn number 3. Shoemaker will drift up the track just a little bit. Here comes Jim Ott as well. I think Matt Taylor there got a piece of the wall just a little bit off of turn number 4, but as you can see in front of Shoemaker here, battle for the race leader as Kenny Real to the inside of Jeff Pogo. Real will clear Pogo. Kenny Real back out to the point. Jeff Pogo now in second. Shoemaker third. Christian Delgado trying to hang on to fourth. Chris Taylor under fire from all directions. There is Dan Dill to his outside. Matt Koss down low here, 3 wide into turn number 3. Nick Larson will also squeak on by the high side. Larson will try and come all the way down, make contact, and shoot way up the track there. Man, oh man, some intense racing here at the halfway point in tonight's show. Only one yellow flag here tonight, but I mean from here on out could go green to the end. This time by for the number 11, he will see the cross flags from Texas. It's halfway down, halfway home in tonight's Lonestar 225. Battle for second. He not up here as Shoemaker all over the back bumper of Pogo. Shoemaker will look to the inside here into turn number 3. Side by side they go. Looks like Pogo just trying to get back to that inside lane. No, he has the tire disadvantage here. Just trying to keep as much track position as he can. And this guy was fast there at the beginning of the race. Kyle Peacock here trying to get back into a podium spot. We'll take a look here, see what the spotter's seeing as Pogo big time sideways off of turn number 4. Will tank slap the wall there, very similar to Jason Wiley. As Pogo will now lose quite a bit of spots here as that 97 continues to fall down the running order. Further on back here, battling kind of for the lucky dog position here as we see Eli Raposa, Dustin Coggin, and Speedy Brissett kind of still duking it out for these 3 positions right here as Brissett slides way up the racetrack there, has to get out of the throttle, and you can see just the momentum that he can lose just by lifting even just a little bit. Right now, though, as they run, Brandon Guerin in the lucky dog spot. He's trying to hold off Johnny Barker and Rob Lowell. As you can see there, Brandon Guerin currently running in the 12th position here. We'll throw it up on the screen here. And I tell you what, 12th position, 1 lap down here. That's what happens when you get a ill-timed yellow in the middle of green flag pit stops. So a 3-car battle forming on up for the race lead here. Can he reel out in front? But he has Shoemaker, and now Kyle Peacock has joined the party. As here we go, battle box on the right here. As you can see, last time by the mile per hours for these drivers here, and a live Delta update on the splits here as we see Peacock right to the back bumper of Shoemaker. Almost gives him a shot going into turn number 1. Top 3 all under a blanket here tonight. You're on lap 83 of 150. Still a decent amount of time left in this race, but these guys going at it here. All these guys want to be the race leader. Peacock that time has a run enough to get to the inside of Shoemaker. So side-by-side battle for second here right behind our race leader. I'm going to go jump on board with Kenny Reel looking back here at the rest of the guys. You see Peacock sideways off of turn number 4. So Kenny Reel best time 30.25. Last time by 30.53. Guys behind him pretty much identical lap time. So Kenny Reel setting the pace here, but like I said, under heavy fires, you can see how close these guys are getting to each other. Shoemaker continuing to try and make that second line work. Kenny Reel still just sticking that car to that white line in these corners. Shoemaker gets a good run. Kenny Reel gets loose. Side-by-side battle for the race lead here. Here comes Bryce Shoemaker. What can he do on the high side? Has to go the long distance around turn number 1, but we'll have a big run here off of turn number 2. Can he cross him on over? Reel will block. Reel says, I am not going to make it easy on you. And that he did not, as Shoemaker will drift all the way. We'll get a big piece of the wall there off of turn number 4. And that can be the detriment to being right up on someone's rear bumper. You lose the air, especially off of turn number 4. That car will take off in a hurry. As I believe we got a helmet cam from Shoemaker, so let's jump on board here, see what he is seeing. And right now, some open track as he gets a great run at Kenny Reel. We'll see what he can do in 1 and 2 this time. So you can see there, can't even see the car to your inside. Just trust in that spotter. Here comes Reel trying to close the door. Cannot do it. Drag race down the backstretch there. Advantage Shoemaker. Can he get clear of Reel? Yes, he can. Shoemaker back out in front here on lap 90. Now here comes Kyle Peacock trying to keep the momentum rolling on the high lane. Trying to take the momentum away from Kenny Reel. As Kyle Peacock will get the door shut, but will continue the run there. Peacock will sail it in there deep, get door number to door number with Reel through 3 and 4. Man, what a move if Peacock can complete this pass. He has a bumper advantage going into turn number 1. He needs to be absolutely perfect though through here in 1 and 2. That time will stay to the high side, so I have a feeling Peacock will drive it in there deep once again into 3 and maybe get clear, as not quite clear. As with these guys side by side, it's allowing now Jim Ott, Christian Delgado to enter into the mix. And one guy that really likes to see these guys side by side is the race leader, Bryce Shoemaker. He says, you guys stay side by side for the rest of the race. I'd love to check out from here. So now Jim Ott with a tough decision here. Which lane does he want to follow with them side by side in front of him? Or does he, as we close on into 50 to go, does he force 3 wide? Might not be an issue as Peacock will get clear, will shut the door, but drive it in there a little bit too deep, washes up the track. This opens up the door for Kenny Reel here once again. Man, some great battles inside the top 5 here tonight. And that continues to be the case here as Reel and Peacock duking it out for now what seems like over 5 laps. Maybe the battle finally done here as Peacock a lot better turn number 1 here. But once again, Kenny Reel has turn number 2 figured out. Has enough a run to get back to the inside once again of Peacock. Oh, that time Peacock got the big piece of the wall, so that will allow Reel to take back over second. And now here comes Jim Ott into third. You gotta wonder with Peacock running that high lane for that many laps, did he start to heat up that right front a little bit more than he wanted? Maybe now gonna try and back it down for a couple laps, cool it on off, and go back on the attack later as Peacock once again out of sorts off of turn number 2. battle for the lucky dog position if we do get a yellow flag. This is Johnny Barker and Brandon Guerin duking it out for P number 11. Sorry, P number 12. Like I said, the more important battle of the lucky dog. As Barker will take over that spot, so now he just hopes to see one thing before the checker flag falls, and that is, of course, the yellow felt. Overall, pretty spread on out here, but Kenny reeling back in the leader here, but he's bringing along Jim Ott. Before long, we may have a battle for the race lead. Shoemaker with a tire advantage, but Kenny Reel holding strong to his rhythm, making sure his pace was where he wanted it to be. Right now, that paying off. Reel, one of the lowest cars off of turn number 2, and I think that's helping a lot with that lap time. Ray Shoemaker almost leaves the bottom, now leaves it open. Here comes Kenny Reel. Shoemaker loses either the front end or the back end, but lost a lot of speed there, and Kenny Reel takes over the point, and Shoemaker now goes all the way back to P number 3. Man, oh man, some great racing out in front here. And now Delgado trying to get around Peacock. This is the battle for the 4th position here. As Delgado trying to go the long way around on the top side. Peacock trying to hang on to every spot he can at the moment. Top 3 check on out here. You can see those top 3 there in the distance. Looks like Delgado still not clear yet. As a great race continues to rage on for Pete number 4 here. Christian Delgado up on the top side, last week's winner. Kyle Peacock trying to get into the podium spots for the first time this season. It looks like Peacock will give over that position here. Now this guy, quiet night to start, but has been on the right side of things here. Dan Dill is catching Delgado and Peacock here. So the Bills Mafia machine looking pretty strong here, as Johnny Barker trying to get back some more track position, or maybe trying to put some more space between him and Brandon Guerin. As I'm hearing some calls to pit road, one of them being the 21 of Rob Walls, bringing along Nick Larson as well. So final stops of the night for some of these drivers. Now the question is, Jim Ott, Bryce Shoemaker, both pitted last time on 67. I don't think they have enough fuel to make it to the end, but it could be very, very close. Those two sitting in the best position to the end, so we'll have to see how this shakes on out as we look at the battle for the race lead here. Kenny Reel, Jim Ott checking on out from Bryce Shoemaker. So far, about 4 cars have hit pit road. Everyone else out on track trying to click on laps. I think before this battle, before the race lead heats on up, I'm going to go take a break from talking and do some good old turn 3, turn it up. We'll be right back. Man, oh man, who doesn't love some good old turn 3, turn it up? As you can see in the stands, a little bit of a shakeup there. Our race leader Kenny reeled down on pit road. This time it is Jim Ott. So that will hand over the race lead to Dan Dill here. So Bill's Mafia takes over the point here. Matt Taylor now running in the second position, and Chris Taylor running in third. Man, oh man, we are in for an exciting one as we have now 40 laps to go. If we get to talk to Dan, I need to ask where the Bills Mafia fandom came from, because he called Festus, Missouri home, part of Gateway Motors. He's got on the regular car Ballman Oil VP race gas. So a little bit of fun facts for our race leader Dan Dill out here leading his first laps of the 802 Riptide Radio series under the green flag conditions here. Kenny Reel in some heavy traffic, same as Shoemaker, Delgado. All these guys very much in some heavy traffic as they try and dive in and weave in through the field here. As one car gets big time loose, through the grass he goes. That's a 69 of Chris Taylor. As Chris Taylor will get split on both sides, as Shoemaker and Delgado will go on around. And of course, this could be the battle for the win here, as Reel sits the best, but Shoemaker, Delgado not letting them get too far away here. Jim Ott currently in the thick of these cars as well, as Dan Dill does head down pit road. So now that takes the race lead over to the W number 8 machine. That is, of course, Matthew Taylor. So Taylor out here leads some laps. As next cars behind Taylor will be those guys that could be battling for the race lead here. Reel, Delgado, Shoemaker. Looks like Delgado was a little bit better through the traffic there. He will get past Shoemaker, which could potentially be for that second position. Matt Taylor continues to stay on out. Only 3 cars that have not pitted, that being both the Taylor machines and Frank Zingen. Dustin Coggins, Matt Koss, both down on pit road to make their last scheduled stops of the night. Matt Taylor continues to race out on the speedway. He is hoping for a yellow flag to fall, because if he pits this late, he's going to have a tall, steep hill to climb to get back and do a good finishing spot. So as they run right now, Brandon Guerin, currently the lucky dog candidate. Guerin still has not pitted since lap 55. He is another one of those drivers hoping and hoping a yellow flag falls before tonight's race is over. One car a little bit out of sorts off of turn number 4. I believe it's the 46 machine of Raposa. Kenny Reel continues to keep the pace. Now a battle between Shoemaker and Ott, as they will try and split Parker and put Parker as the meat in the sandwich there, 3 wide, and they somehow make that work and stay side by side. Shoemaker has to chase that car just a little bit and give that spot now to Jim Ott. A big time race of attrition here, not because of the yellows, but the strategy and keeping these cars underneath them for how long these drivers have had to go. Only 1 yellow flag right around lap 65. Everything else has been clean and green, and a lot of strategy here as this time by. Matt Taylor will see 30 laps to go. There we go. I heard the call from the spotter. Race leader Matt Taylor, come on down pit road. You can see how tricky it is. A lot of speed coming up, and oh man, did he get slowed on up enough? It seemed like he was carrying a heck of a lot of speed to that yellow commitment cone. And of course, that's where you got to aim for, to be slowed on down. And I don't think Matt Taylor got it. We'll wait a second and see out here. And yeah, it looks like also maybe missed his box. Will roll completely through pit road there. So a night going down the drain in a hurry for the number 8 crew. That hands over the race lead to the Fighting Irish number 62 machine, Frank Zingen, out here with the point, but now Kenny Reel about 17 seconds back. Chris Taylor also down on pit road here. As you can see here, as we jump on board with Christian Delgado, Jim Ott was able to get around the 31 machine. So these guys, of course, battling for position. Every position matters, because when the 62 does come on in, whoever's out front of these 3 is the race leader. Jim Ott has seemed to be very, very good on the long run here tonight at Texas. And showing it off here once again, closing in on Kenny Reel, now within a car length. Reel will roll the middle of the corner a little bit better than Ott, but Ott once again gets that draft down these straightaways and able to close on up. So zinging down on pit road. Now we'll hand over the race lead to Kenny Reel, but can he hang on to it? Has a very hungry Jim Ott right on his back bumper. This time by for the number 11, we will see 25 laps to go in tonight's Lonestar 225. As Eli Raposa will go down another lap, we'll get on out of the way for these race leaders. Gotta always appreciate the sportsmanship that we see with the Riptide Radio 802 drivers. And here we go. Even though a lot of strategy, a lot of managing your stuff, this race comes down to this. Within 3 cars, all have a shot at tonight's win. Besides this, only real battle is about 17th, 18th, and 19th. Maybe even 16th as well. That, of course, Cody Brewer, Cameron Robertson, Jason Ayerson, and Justin Branaham. These guys all under a blanket here for 16, 17, 18. We'll flash back up to the leader when that battle does ensue, but we'll keep an eye here on this battle. All these cars racing for a position here tonight. And I like this 58 machine, you know, no, let's say, words on the car, but has a logo, and I believe that's the Miami Dolphins logo on Branaham as he goes up to P number 15 here. So Branaham up into the top 15, able to get around Cody Brewer. These guys still battling out here between the 32 and the 74. Delgado has started to lose touch to the top 2 here, so Delgado might not be a factor unless we get a late race caution flag. We go back up to our race leaders here. Kenny Reel continues to lead the way over Jim Ott, and like I mentioned, Christian Delgado fading on back ever so slightly. Bryce Shoemaker currently running in the 4th position. And rounding out the top 5 is the 83 of Kyle Peacock. Kenny Reel under fire from Jim Ott. Both of these drivers looking for their first win of this season. But for Kenny Reel, it would be win number 9, tying him with the most wins ever in the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. For Jim Ott, I believe it would be win number 1, so a lot on the line here with 18 laps to go. Kenny Reel can feel the pressure every single lap. Can he stay calm, cool, and collected for 17 and a half more laps? That time by Real about half a tenth quicker than Jim Ott. So Kenny Real doing what he needs to do to kind of space, give himself a little bit of breathing room to second place here. So Kenny Real might be on a mission here. Right now, if a yellow flag were to fly, Stephen Holmes in the lucky dog spot, only in P number 9, but the first car 1 lap down here. As Holmes, we can see the Chicago Cubs number 9 machine hoping for a yellow flag before these final 15 laps are complete. One guy that doesn't want to see a yellow, the race leader, Kenny Real, stretching the race lead out now to about half a second over Jim Ott. So like I said, if Kenny Real can pick up the win here tonight, that will tie him for the most wins ever in this series in the first 5 seasons that these guys are on. First car 2 laps down is a 69 machine of Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor last pitted on 122, so he should be able to get around these leaders and get one of his laps back. The question is, how hard can he race at the end here with these leaders? As battle for position here, as Frank Zingen will get around Dan Dill for P number 7. Jim Ott under fire from Chris Taylor. Taylor, of course, 2 laps down here. We'll try and get Ott around the high side here, but these guys will have to deal with a little bit of lap traffic. I believe that's a 32 machine. Yes, it is Cameron Robertson going 2 laps down here. Now Jim Ott under fire from Christian Delgado for second. So this race isn't over. As contact here off of turn number 2. Ott will go on around with contact with the 32 a lapper. And oh man, this race just got really, really interesting, as we'll have a shootout to the end of under 10 laps to go. We'll take a look here, maybe try and get a wider shot here. And yeah, it looks like Ott maybe not realizing they were going to close that much on the 32, or maybe hoping the 32 would hold a little bit higher to the wall, but 3 wide, just running out of room at this point in the race. You know, if you're in the top 3, you're not lifting at that point, and some pretty significant contact to the number 4. Luckily for him, only 8 cars on the lead lap, so I have a feeling we'll see all of the leaders down on pit road to take another set of tires, but we'll have to see what is everyone's short run pace, as we'll have a shootout to the finish. Kenny Real will lead down the lead lap cars here. Delgado, Shoemaker, Peacock, Jim Ott, Jeff Pogo. Frank Zingen will also roll down pit road, and I believe Dan Dill as well. So we'll go to the end of pit road, see if anyone decides to take 2 tires or if everyone will take 4. So we'll keep an eye here at the end of pit road. It looks like one car with a 2 tire. That will be Jim Ott. So Ott's going to go on the gamble. He says he wants a track position. Kenny Reel will lead the rest of the cars out from pit road. As I believe both Shoemaker and Peacock getting around Delgado. You saw Delgado have to readjust in the box. That will cost him 2 spots on pit road. So Lucky Dog recipient Steve was the 90 machine of Stephen Holmes. So Stephen Holmes back on the lead lap here. And I believe a ton of cars in the wave around position. Because we can see here, we go to the likes of Jim Ott. He's all the way back in this train of cars. We'll try and go as wide of a shot as we can. We'll go up to the spotter stand, but here you can see just the amount of cars you see in front of Jim Ott, as of course fly all around, trying to understand what cars are where, especially in the time and scoring where I just get it from first through 28. This should give us a good shot here going into turn number 1. A lot of cars in front of Jim Ott, about 15 of them trying to get at least one of their lap back. And I tell you what, that will probably put about 20 cars back on the lead lap. As yeah, Steve, with those cars getting the wave round, you know, can't pit this time, so they'll be on old stuff. But if there is a quick yellow, all those cars can come on in. Then we have about a 20 car shootout where everyone is on an even playing field. So Stephen Holmes with that Lucky Dog will come down on pit road this time. So that puts a whopping 9 cars on the lead lap at the moment. But after the wave rounds, I believe it will be all the way 17 cars, as I believe Cody Brewer will be the last car on the lead lap with the wave rounds. And the wave rounds happen, folks. So Lucky Dog happens during the yellow with about the second yellow flag lap under yellow. Wave round will happen with 1 to go. So especially with the amount of cars that is getting waved around, these guys have to be ready to go instantly. As here's the time, these guys better get on it because they got to make it around this whole speedway before they go green. As you can see, some cars taking a little bit more time and the rest of the guys trying to go as quickly as they can because already pace cars into 1 and 2, and these guys got to still make it all the way around the speedway. So front row, Jim Ott, Kenny Reel. Row number 2, Shoemaker, Peacock. Then we have Delgado and Pogo. Of course, Jim Ott on 2 tires. Everyone else on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. As you can see here, Brewer just to the stripe. So if he times it right, maybe a Kyle Busch restart. But still a lot of speedway to go to get back to the back of the field here. So it will be a 6-lap shootout here. Jim Ott leading the field. Has led a few laps here tonight, but like I said, looking for his first win. What does he have? How will 2 tires compare to 4? We're about to find out. Pace car down onto pit road. Jim Ott away with a great start. Wow, what a jump from the number 4. That'll put Shoemaker even to second. The question is, with such a good restart, was that too early from Jim Ott? We'll find out here as Reel gets in the back of Shoemaker. Reel will go all the way down the speedway. Somehow not spin, but his night looks a lot worse now as he goes all the way back to P number 8. Man, oh man, Reel not going to be happy with how that restart went. But here comes the rest of the field trying to eat up Ott as Shoemaker will get into the back of Ott. We'll give him a shot and now try and split him as here comes Christian Delgado. Delgado to the point. Man, oh man, it looks like 2 tires was not the call as Ott quickly dropping through the field. Delgado out in front trying to go 2 in a row. Here comes Shoemaker though, and where did this guy come from? Jeff Pogo, he's up to 3rd. Shoemaker will sail in there deep. We'll lean heavy on Delgado. We'll use him all the way up. That will leave the door wide open for Pogo. Delgado will return the favor, say, hey man, I am not cool with that move. As these guys will continue to beat and bang, and man, with that move, I think that just cost them a shot at the win here. As Pogo's trying to run away and hide, Delgado trying to pass through the grass there. As he thought about it for a second, we'll think better of it. But we got to keep an eye on this, man. Some great racing through the field to the checkered flag. As here comes Shoemaker to the inside of Zingen. Zingen and Shoemaker will lean on each other just a tiny bit, a little bit more off at turn number 4. This time by, we see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. Man, oh man, Jeff Pogo trying to win his 2nd race of the season. Zingen will get sent up the track a little bit. Delgado will bounce. Him and Real will get together. They will wreck down the backstretch. And yellow flag is out. Oh, ho, ho, man. It is going to be a green-white checkered. But Kenny Real, Christian Delgado getting into it down the backstretch. And man, this race isn't over yet. As we see down the backstretch here, Real to the inside, Delgado definitely weaving that car back and forth, and sadly Frank Zingen, a innocent bystander, makes pretty significant contact to that inside wall, but maybe we can back it up a little bit more, but not sure what kind of caused that, as why Delgado was kind of moving back and forth a little bit. We're going to try and find out a little bit further here. As see up in front, Delgado got into Zingen, so they make some contact there, and then Delgado into Peacock there, and that upsets the 31 just a little bit, and Delgado maybe trying to get down to the bottom, stop the bleed as much as he can, and Real was there, and then big time contact to the inside wall to the 31 and 62. Looks like Lucky Dog coming high this time by, and it looks like it is now the 74 of Jason Ayerson. So he will go back on the lead lap. That will now move 18 cars on the lead lap, so double the amount we had 2 yellows ago. Now that will get the likes of Delgado, of course, on pit road, get some repairs, but now Johnny Barker, Matt Cost, Rob Lowell, Nick Larson, Justin Branaham, all out there with fresh rubber with their green-white checkered at hand, so not a lot of time, so they're going to have to take everything that they can get. But don't forget, guys, this is attempt number 1 of 2 of the green-white checkered, so if we get a yellow flag before the white, we get to do this all over again. Man, oh man, Jeff Pogo did not want to see that yellow flag, but we'll have to decide how he wants to control this restart. As that time by, we get 2 to go. So with that, we'll be right back. I'm going to go get a drink of water and get ready for this non-stop talking to the checkered flag. We'll be right back. Alrighty, at the stripe, folks, the lights will go out. Jeff Pogo, Bryce Shoemaker make up the front row. Then it is Kyle Peacock, Dan Dill, Jim Ott, and Brandon Guerin making up row number 3. Man, oh man. First attempt at a green-white checkered. You can see the runs that these guys can get. What will happen from here? Jeff Pogo trying to pick up win number 2 of the season. Or Shoemaker trying to pick up win number 1. The iRacing pace car will make its way down into pit road. Now Jeff Pogo leads the field to the restart zone. What kind of restart can the 97 get? It looks like Shoemaker gets a pretty good launch up on the top side. They'll stay side by side, diving down into turn number 1. Kyle Peacock will try and fill that inside lane, not let Shoemaker get on down. What kind of run can Shoemaker get down the backstretch? Pogo will give Shoemaker the draft here, side by side for second, but Pogo out in front by himself. Can he reel on the recovery drive up into 4th? Can he get some more? But white flag is out. We are racing back to the checkered no matter what. Peacock, Shoemaker, side by side. Peacock will slide Shoemaker off of turn number 2. Here comes Kenny Reel. Jeff Pogo out in front, but they will stay that way as here they come off of turn number 4. Shoemaker hard into the wall, but it will be Jeff Pogo with the win. Kyle Peacock second, Bryce Shoemaker hanging on to 3rd. And man, oh man, what a finish, but heck of a job by this guy. Where did he come from there at the end? Picking up the win for the 2nd time this season. It is Jeff Pogo getting some congratulatory bumps from the rest of the field. But man, what a race to the finish there. Only 3 yellows here tonight. So awesome job by all of these drivers. We'll be talking to the top 3, but right now we focus on Jeff Pogo burning it on down here on the front stretch in just one moment. There we go, Jeff Pogo burning it on down here at Texas for the Lonestar 225 winner. That going to the 97 of Jeff Pogo. And heck of a burnout from Jeff Pogo. We're going to go commercial break, get everyone set on up for post-race interviews, and we'll be right back for the post-race show.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, we come back to Texas Motor Speedway to start our post-race show. And kicking it on off will be our third place finisher in the number 54 machine. It is Bryce Shoemaker. Bryce, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, man. Crazy finish to tonight's race. You know, a lot of green flag runs, a lot of managing your stuff, but to end in that sort of fashion, how are we feeling after 150 laps?
Oh man, that was hard fought. I didn't really get much time to practice this week, so I was just off all night, and my race really turned around when that first caution came out during green flag pit stops. I was legitimately pitting that lap when that first caution came out, so that saved me there. And from there, it was track position. With the next gen, you have all that dirty air, so I was able to aero block, get a good top 3 out of it from there, and then obviously the green white checkers start coming out, and there you're just driving as hard as you can, and got a little bit dirty there, but clean finish overall to the end of the race, which I'm super excited to see, and it turned into a bloodbath or anything. So just super stoked about how that finish happened, and I have a lot of respect for these guys after that finish.
Yeah, that finish was definitely awesome. You know, a lot of people could have used up a lot of other people, but luckily didn't see any of that, I think, throughout the field, at least what I saw.
Yeah, I think there was like one moment I got into Christian. I think we were both going for the same gap right there on the first lap of that green white checkered, and I got glued to him, so it moved both of us up into the third lane. So I know he wasn't too thrown, and I apologize to him for that. But with an next gen car, if you get out of your line or you make contact, it's so hard to get the car to re-rotate the center of the corner. So I apologize to him, but besides that, from everything else I've seen, it was super clean for a next gen mile and a half. So bravo to these guys, good race, and looking forward to next week.
Yeah, next week should be a blast, but tonight, you mentioned, you know, not getting that car to rotate, and we saw that a lot, especially 1 and 2. This place very tricky with that, because it seems like once, you know, you get it up a little bit, that car can take on off underneath you.
Yeah, the race was 150 laps, and I finally figured out maybe on lap 120. So, without that practice, I was struggling so much in 1 and 2. It felt like no matter what lane I hit, after the center, it was plowing going up the track, tearing up the right front. So yeah, it took me 90% of this race to finally like learn the car and how to attack turns 1 and 2. And then with what you learn for long run, it didn't want to do it in the short run, going for a green white checker, where you have to send it as hard as you can and hope it sticks.
Yeah, and speaking about that green white checker, you started outside front row. It seemed like that was one of the worst spots to be. It seemed like every time second place lost a handful of spots. Luckily, you're able to hang on to third. What was kind of your mindset, and what was your game plan, and how do you think you did up there?
Actually, I really suck on outside restarts, so I was really happy with how that restart played out. Going into it, I was planning on falling behind Cal Peacock, my teammate, so I could push him up there to try to get away, but I somehow entered turns 1 and 2 on the outside with the leader, so from there, we kind of, our plan fell apart. We were just side by side after the leader cleared us off too. and Peacock had a run, and then we just stayed side by side. After that, once he cleared, I pushed him down the backstretch, and it just wasn't enough there. But I'm super stoked. I honestly didn't see myself finishing top 3 after that restart, starting on the outside, because it is really tough up there.
Yeah, that it is, and very impressive to hang on where you did, Bryce. Awesome job up there. Now tonight, instead of your normal WeatherTech car, we got the 49ers scheme. Why the 49ers? A little bit of insight there.
Okay, so really, I'm not actually a football guy. Like, I'm newer to the sport. I was primarily just a NASCAR motorsport guy. But my one friend from my Saturday Night League really loves the 49ers, and his excitement and passion for the team actually got me into NFL and the 49ers. So where I watch every Sunday, Thursday, whatever they're playing, it's actually really fun to talk with him and get excited for a football game now. Now I find myself watching every week. So definitely newer to the sport, but I always have a good time. And I believe the 49ers beat the Bears today. So got P30, 49ers won. We're cooking.
Yeah, a good night for you and the 49ers as they picked up a win. You pick up a podium, so awesome job with that. So, of course, this kind of kicks off the mile and a half. Good showing by you tonight with speed. How do you feel going forwards with the tracks and any track in particular you're looking forward to?
Between me and Kyle Peacock, we love our mile and a half. That's our bread and butter. So, obviously, we showed it here. Peacock was way faster than me, as Texas is probably one of my worst mile and a half, I'd say, especially with the new configuration. But Las Vegas, Kansas, if that's on the schedule, I can't remember. We're going to go to Atlanta next week. Expect the same speed. We're going to be top 5, top 10 for sure.
Awesome, Bryce. Well, can't wait to see that here in the future. But before we let you go, we got a couple more things to do. Real quick, first time talking with you this season. Always love to ask the drivers a little bit about their sim setup, give a little insight. So what do you got? What are you looking at? And maybe what's your combo for our wheel pedals? Anything else cool like that?
I don't have that expensive a setup. I have the Moza R5 bundle, the direct drive wheel, and I have the Thrustmaster load cell pedals. So that's what I'm rocking. The Moza R5, if anyone does ever want to upgrade to a direct drive, I cannot recommend them enough. I put it on tier with the Fanatec stuff, but at a great price.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're like not too expensive, but we got a direct drive. It's like okay, that's a better than most setup right there.
Oh yeah, I had the T300 Thrustmaster wheel before that, and I was alright. But when I got my direct drive, especially with short tracks, I can feel so much more of the corner. So it definitely helps you.
Yeah, I heard going to direct drive definitely a game changer.
Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead, Bryce.
No, I had nothing.
All right. Well, all right, Bryce. Well, before we let you go, for the final time, we'll let you give a shout out maybe to some teammates, some sponsors, or maybe some people tuning on in and watching at home.
First off, I gotta thank AMR Paints. He made my 49ers game tonight, so he obviously did a killer job, and I'm gonna have a couple more paints made throughout the season by him. He's a little bit more on the pricier side, but everything he does is so worth it. He does such a great job. I gotta thank the teammates over seen the front motorsports. They actually helped me out a lot today. Honestly, I didn't practice; they did. So I took a lot of their notes and tried to apply it in 5 minutes worth of practice when I jumped in. So I gotta thank them. Obviously, Peacock is really good. He came out P2. We worked really good throughout the race with strategy and all that. And I gotta thank Max and Rob as well. They're doing a good job. They're obviously learning and they're newer to the sim, so they're doing a really good job. And obviously, without them tonight, I took their notes, so they helped me out a lot. So can't thank them enough. Thank the league admins for putting on this league. I'm a league owner myself, so I know it's really hard to run a league. So they're doing a phenomenal job with what they got going on, and it's really fun. I can't wait for next week. Obviously, we're starting to get our cleaner races in, so it's showing the drivers as well. So I just got to thank them and every driver that shows up every week. The league isn't possible without them.
Yep. Always a great time here, and yeah, especially tonight, some great racing. So, Bryce, congrats again on a podium position. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again in the future, especially at these mile and a half. So you have yourself a great rest of the night, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Alrighty, thank you very much. That was Bryce Shoemaker finishing P number 3. Now we'll dial up our runner-up finisher, that being the 83 of Kyle Peacock. Kyle, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, buddy, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How about yourself? How you feeling? Runner-up finish here tonight with a green-white checkered after some long runs. Woo! Had a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah, I'm super happy that we got all those green runs in. Really got to see the speed of what we brought to the track today. So that was a lot of fun. And honestly, I think the caution kind of helped me out a little bit. I probably had maybe like a 5th or 4th place car, but yeah, ended up getting 2nd, so can't complain.
Yeah, some great stuff there, especially by you. And it seemed like tonight, Kyle, especially, that car was very, very good in the short run. I mean, especially at the start of the race, you were picking off people left and right.
Oh yeah, I kind of had a bad slip up on qualifying, so it wasn't where I wanted to be, and I had to get there fast because you know how it goes once the tires set in these things. It's a little bit difficult to pass, and with the racing in this league, it's pretty competitive. So you really got to work for it. So I just wanted to make up as much places as I could.
Yeah, and that you did in a hurry. And I tell you what, that car looked fast all night long. It seemed like, especially without the kind of wacky strategy with that yellow coming out when it did at the start. I mean, you were up towards the front all night long. I assume big fan of the 1.5 miles and these intermediate style tracks.
Yes, sir. Honestly, 1.5 mile tracks, like, honestly, Vegas is my favorite track, but anything like Vegas, same distance, I'm here for it. So.
Alrighty, yeah, Vegas is a fun one. I would say definitely more fun than Texas. Texas can be a little bit technical for what it is because turns 1 and 2 very wide, but yeah, you miss that bottom and you might as well say hello to that wall.
Oh yeah, definitely test your discipline as a driver once the tires start going.
Yeah, that it does. And with that speed and picking off those drivers, I mean, what'd you find out with Texas here tonight? What'd you find was the key?
Honestly, if you could get, like, I noticed, so when I was practicing, I wasn't sending it into 1 and 2 hard enough, but I noticed once, the track, I guess, rubbered in and I got more comfortable with the car. If you could just wrap that bottom through 1 and 2, the drive off you'd get is insane. And then I don't know how these other guys were driving Texas, but I was shifting up to 5th gear halfway down the straightaway, and then you could just send it into 3 and 4, and it felt like it was on rails.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of the thing with Texas. It wants to wash up off of 2, but it seems like the lower you can exit, there's some magic grip, I like to call it, down there where not too many people are running.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, Kyle. Well, tonight, of course, special schemes out here tonight. Not the Burger King machine, but tonight we got the Washington Commanders. What's the backstory behind that?
I've been a Redskins fan for a very long time, and we finally have something to cheer for this year. So had to represent.
Yeah, I tell you what, that Washington team, not too many people had on their bingo card that they were going to be good, and I tell you what, looking very, very good, especially on the offensive side. Defensive side, like most teams, could need a little bit, but man, that offense definitely humming, and like you said, definitely something to be very excited for.
Yes, sir. Can't complain. You're one of their rebuilds, so just hoping continues to get better these next couple of years.
Yep, and especially new ownership, I assume that brings a lot more talent wanted to go there, right?
Oh yeah, it's for the first time I've actually heard people want to play for Washington, and I'm 23 years old, and I cannot say I've ever heard that before, besides maybe once in 2012. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a Lions fan myself, so this year, looking very good. And these past couple years, I'm like, really, people want to play for the Lions? I remember being the laughing stock for a while.
Oh yeah, you guys are the blueprint for the teams that are rebuilding. So that's
Oh
cool to
yeah.
see you guys. Cool to see you guys doing what you guys are doing too. So.
Yep, always some cool stuff there. Well, Kyle, first time talking to you this season. Always like to ask the drivers, what is their sim setup like? What do you got in front of you for maybe wheel pedals, and what are you looking at?
I got three 24-inch monitors, Fanatec CSL DD, and just regular Fanatec pedals, no load cell or anything fancy. So
Okay, but those triple screens, man, very nice to have, especially at short tracks, and I'm sure it came in big time handy on these green white checkers.
oh yeah, but if anyone's looking to get triples, make sure you get 32s. My 24s are too small. I can't see my right side. So, but yeah,
But at least can see more than one screen. But yeah,
yeah.
I had 28s to start, and that was at the very edge. I could see 24s being on the smidge on the small side.
Yeah, don't get me wrong though, it's definitely great. It's better than a single or anything like that. So just super happy I can, have a rig like this, and yeah.
Awesome stuff, Kyle. Well, for the final time before we let you go and celebrate the runner-up position, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, whether that be teammates, sponsors, or maybe some people tuning on in on home on the broadcast.
I just want to thank Bryce Shoemaker, Rob Denton, and Max Koss, my teammates. Bryce gave me a little push right there, kind of helped me get clear of Kenny, I think it was, for second place. So, yeah, big thank you to those guys.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Kyle. Pleasure talking to you here tonight, and I assume as we hit some more intermediates, we'll be talking to you again in the future. So have a great rest of your night, and we'll catch you next week.
You too, buddy. Hopefully I'm the last guy in here next time.
Yeah, there you go. That's always a great goal. As Kyle, you take care.
See you, buddy.
Alrighty, folks. That was Kyle Peacock in the number 83 machine. And let's head on down to tonight's winner, making him his second win of the season. It is the 97 of Jeff Pogo. Jeff, do you got a copy?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, man. Second win of the season. First repeat winner coming at Texas. And I got to say, Jeff, where did you come from tonight?
I don't really know. That caution at the end helped me for sure. Honestly, I had speed for maybe a 5th to 7th place car tonight. That's about all. So definitely got lucky and then just aggressive on the restart. Waited for some guys to, I guess kind of push themselves up the track, battling, and then I just snuck underneath.
Yeah, I mean, that restart pretty much from 6 to go onwards, you were right place, right time, doing everything right. I mean, what was your thought process going in, and then thought process when you saw those two wash way up the speedway and you see open track in front of you?
Well, my thought was I hope they battled side by side and slowed each other down, and I was going to try to sneak by or make it 3 wide, put them in a situation where someone had to lift or we wrecked. And then once I seen them wash up the track, it was just let's get to the white.
Yeah, and sadly for you, not quite getting there. I mean, what were the emotions then, heading into 3, coming to the white flag, and the yellow comes out, and knowing you have to have a go at it with a green-white checkered?
Well, I kind of knew that people were 2, 3 wide and blocking because my teammate Dan Dill was right there in the middle of it. So I was watching my mirror, and I seen it happening going into 3, but I felt like I got Parker Kligerman on that.
Yeah, definitely a heart-wrenching moment for you to get all that way just to have to redo it again. But then green-white checkered, have to do everything perfect. Big runs here at Texas with the draft. You got your good restart, and then down the backstretch, blocked high, and from there they kind of stayed side by side, which I'm sure you love to see.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest thing was I struggled in 1 and 2 all night, and even on a restart. I mean, you're not up at speed yet, but I'm not good at hustling these cars as good as I was with the solid axle, Gen 6, Xfinity truck, whatever. But I knew if I got through 1 and 2 ahead of somebody, I'd block them down the back if they had a run. And if I made it into 3 and 4 ahead of somebody, I figured I probably had it. But, I could have washed up on the white flag lap going into 1 and 2, and someone could have got under me too. So I was inconsistent as hell all night in 1 and 2.
Yeah, and with that, definitely, like you said, had top 5 speed all night long. I mean, what was the key you found for Texas here? You mentioned how tricky 1 and 2 is, and that's probably one of the trickiest spots on the track.
Yeah, like I said, I struggled in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, I'm good at wrapping the bottom pretty much at any mile and a half. But 1 and 2 here, man, I just struggled. I tried following, learning throughout the race other people's lines. I couldn't duplicate what they were doing, changing brake bias around, trying to do something to manipulate the car, shifting, not shifting. Just no matter what I did, man, the only way I could get the car to turns if I drove it off the right rear, and that just made it loose out of 4. So definitely tricky. I'll be looking forward to going to Atlanta next week. I like old Atlanta, so yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, Atlanta will be a good one. Definitely big time tire saving there. And where do you rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on the old tire saving game, especially in these next gen cars where it's really tough to feel it?
I'd still put myself probably around a 9 or so. I'm usually pretty good
Okay.
at saving tire.
Well, yeah, at Atlanta, then you'll definitely be towards the front. And of course, picking up the win at Dover, a tricky track, a track that definitely some tire saving there. Texas, another kind of very tricky technical track. So, you, man, picking up wins at these tough places, got to feel pretty good at the start of the season.
Yeah, it doesn't feel bad. I just hope the luck doesn't fall off as the season goes on. So I guess we'll see. I'd like to win one, with the green flag run to the checker. I don't I don't like winning them on restarts just because it's, you could dominate a whole race, get a caution at the end and lose it on a restart. I had to defend a bunch at Dover and then had to defend here tonight, and I'd rather just have it be green all the way to the end. But on the flip side, the caution saved me tonight and put me in this position, so I'm thankful for it.
Yep, it's all about that lady luck with racing. Sometimes you're on the right side, sometimes you're on the wrong side.
Yep, for sure.
Alrighty, Jeff. Well, tonight, special schemes out here tonight, and we got a really cool scheme by you, the Hoonigan machine. What's the backstory behind that?
I wasn't even gonna do one for tonight, and my teammates were like, "You got to make one. Come on, man," because I don't watch stick and ball sports. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch football, baseball. Really, I'm from St. Louis. Obviously, I like the Cardinals, but I don't really follow stick and ball sports. I like anything with a motor. So I'm a big dirt bike guy, Supercross, obviously Ken Block, stuff like that. My seat's actually wrapped in a Ken Block wrap. So I just, I was like, Travis Pastrana's always been kind of a hero growing up when I was younger. Him racing his Suzuki's and stuff, and I was like, well, let's combine the two. Let's do a Hoonigan. I think it's Gymkhana 11. Travis Pastrana drove a Subaru that was pretty much this scheme, so I just tried to duplicate it best I could.
Man, yeah, those guys are awesome to see what Ken Black, Travis Pastrana can do behind the wheel. It's like, man, those guys are artists just sitting behind the wheel and being man and machinery, let's say.
Oh yeah, it's definitely cool. So I just kind of wanted to pay honor to, Ken Block and Travis Pastrana both.
Yeah, that definitely an awesome scheme here tonight. And you mentioned St. Louis. I mean, you ever been to the Dome? I mean, that just got done this weekend and always some wild racing over there.
I have been there once for the dirt in December, but I haven't been back since. I'm just not well, I don't want to say I'm not a huge dirt guy. It doesn't get me like this kind of stuff does. I live like 5 minutes from I-55 Raceway too, and Peevely. So anytime World Outlaws and stuff's there, I go to that. That's usually a good time.
Yeah, the Dome definitely is its own unique racing. You know, it's very close quarters and definitely not the typical dirt racing that you see.
No, and it looks like they had a little bit of action in the Dome this weekend too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Temper's always high inside the closed roof, it seems.
Yeah, we had tempers high, cars going through the safety fence, upside down on the other side of the wall. I mean, it seemed like a good one.
Yeah, it did. It was fun to watch at home, but yeah, Jeff, awesome stuff here tonight, at least on the virtual Texas stuff, picking up win number 2. So we're going to go let you get rolling here in just one moment, continue to celebrate their win. But before we do that, we got to hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, either that being teammates, sponsors, or maybe people tuning at home with the broadcast.
Oh, Well, first and foremost, gotta thank my wife who gives me the stink eye every time she walks up and down the steps because she's up there trying to wrangle our 4-year-old. But you guys, Rob, them guys putting on the league, and everybody in here, you're finally starting to get a taste of what everybody's got and how they drive and who you can race close, and just everybody that watches and tunes in every week, really, and the guys that show up here. Uh, you get a good group of racers, man. It doesn't matter where you go. I know the last 2 weeks were caution filled, but I think it's gonna be smooth sailing from here. You're gonna have short tracks are gonna have some issues, but overall we got a good group of guys here. I think it's gonna be a good season. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think so as well, Jeff. As like we said, starting off on a hot streak. Hopefully that luck continues, because if so, I'm sure we'll be talking to you some more throughout this season. So Jeff, enjoy win number 2 of the season, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, Brett. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. That was tonight's winner, Jeff Pogo, picking up the checkered flag for the Lonestar 225. So that will do it here tonight for post-race interviews. And let's try and run through tonight's race results and get everyone out of here at a decent time. Jeff Pogo picking up the win, his second win of the season in the number 90 machine. Finishing second, we got a chance to talk to him. It is Kyle Peacock in the 83, with the 54, Bryce Shoemaker rounding out the podium positions. Kenny Reel able to rebound into the top 5, will finish P number 4 in the 11. And how about this guy, Bill's Mafia, Dan Dill in the 81 machine, rounds out the top 5. Stephen Holmes, 1 point, the lucky dog candidate, will come home P number 6 in the 90, with Brandon Guerin in the number 1 finishing 7th. 8th going to Frank Zingen in the 62. 9th going to Christian Delgado in the 31. And rounding out the top 10, how about it for this guy? It is the 42 of Dustin Coggin. Finishing in P number 11 is Max Cost in the 63. 12th is the 4 of Jim Ott. 13th will be Johnny Barker in the 6th. 14th is Justin Branham in the 58. And rounding out the top 15 and P number 15 is Rob Lowell in the 21. Nick Larson in the Deuce will finish 16th. 17th going to Cody Brewer in the 12. 18th is Jason Arison in the 74. Finishing 19th will be the 69. That is Chris Taylor. And rounding out the top 20, it is Matthew Taylor in the 8. Finishing 21st is Cameron Robertson in the 32. Then it is the 46 of Eli Raposa finishing 22nd. 23rd going to Jason Wiley in the 13. 24th is Robert Denton in the 93. 25th, Ariba Canton. 26th, Speedy Brissett. 27th, Eric Holly. And then rounding out the field tonight, exiting early, is Mike Babinchak in the 55 machine. So that will do it here tonight from the Lonestar 225. Got to give a big shout out to all the live viewers. Looked like had some pretty good numbers here tonight. So thank you guys all tuning on in. Big thank you to all the YouTube chat, keeping me entertained. That, of course, being Jake, Steve, Roger, Josh, Max, and everyone else. Big shout out to all you guys. And, of course, we got to thank some sponsors. That, of course, being Riptide Radio, Out of the Woods Crafts, BG Graphics, DTL Customs, and, of course, Leaf Guard. Also, Turn 3 live almost every day of the week for some of the best sim racing action. Be sure to tune on in. If you ever want to see myself race, I race Wednesday nights with a Street Stock League. Pretty fun to watch. I'm not good at the Street Stock, so you get to see someone else win. As, of course, with Turn 3, we are also partnered with Premier Setup. So there's a link in the description that will take you over to Premier. Let them know that we sent you. And even if you don't want to buy anything, at least that traffic shows that we are supporting each other in every way possible. Also got to give a big shout out to the admins and all the racers with the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen Cup Series for putting on this racing action for us to enjoy and spend our Sunday nights together with. Also want to give a big shout out to the racers here tonight with the amount of caution flags. Awesome job by all you guys. You guys can pat yourselves on the back. So I believe that will do it here tonight. Next week, these guys will try and tackle Atlanta Motor Speedway. So that should be a fun one. You won't want to miss it, as that could be one of the most exciting races so far this season. So everyone, take care, stay safe, have yourself a great rest of the week, and we'll catch you next Sunday. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.